Good races in the major events. Tim Blanchard. Or probably Percat, yeah. Yeah, so what he won Adelaide because they were the only car that had actually filled up its fuel and reached its fuel quota, because I don't know why that's such just rubbish. Those sorts of rules. And then I don't know. I guess they just had pace at Bathurst. I don't know. Other people fell off as well. But he didn't qualify that well. He wasn't really anywhere qualifying. He was okay. He was pretty decent in qualifying. And, Percat's a Bathurst winner as well. He did get a podium in 2014, so he's got runs on the board to be able to do it. But he also has made plenty of mistakes at Bathurst as well. It's hard to say that he's actually good at Bathurst when he's so hit and miss. But yeah, 2016, it was like the last gasp for that car. But the only times that they got a top 10 was when they got a podium in the LDM car. And then 2017, that car was the best it could do was 15th. That was as good as it was going to get. 2011 Bathurst, such a lucky win. Yeah, after he'd slapped it in the wall at Griffin's, like, god damn it. He actually he ruined their race in 2012, right? He crashed it. Because I've got not on this phone, but on my old phone, I had like, how did such and such do a Bathurst? And it was like 2012. Percat sticks it right in the fence. And I can't remember where he did it, but it was just like, dude, you're a Bathurst winner. How did this happen? But yeah, I think it's probably just right place, right time for Percat. Dropped him for 2013. Last minute brought him back. Who was in? Who were they going to put in? Hang on. Nick Percat, 2013 Holden Racing Team. Do. Back for Bathurst Redemption. In September, says looking beyond Walkinshaw for a drive. That might have been for a full-time drive. Yeah, he must have done something because he was driving Carrera Cup that year. Who were they going to put in? It was with D'Alberto. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. D'Alberto was doing all right in 2013. Last minute brought him back. Yeah, but who were they going to put in with Garth? Are they going to get McConville? Who was with D'Alberto, actually? I have so many PowerPoint presentations open. I need to close some. I never heard this story. I forget. Let's look. 2013. It's probably like a little bit of a swap, like a Walkinshaw thing, because D'Alberto was driving a Walkinshaw car, so they probably had some sort of deal with that. I'm gonna show this. There we go. Tony D'Alberto racing Johnny Reed. Where did Johnny Reed come from, dude? I don't even think he drove in 2012. He might have done. Was he a DJR co-driver? Nope. Johnny Reed. He was just like... Oh, no, there he is. He drove with Michael Patrizzi at Techno in 2012. Okay. But he sort of came out of nowhere, though. Where was I looking? 2013. See, yeah. Wait, does that Johnny Reed ended up at D'Alberto? Maybe they were going to have someone else. Oh well, I suppose they're not going to do an article talking him up, but yeah. All right, yeah, that's an interesting one because I was looking at things being like, oh, Percat screwed up in 2012. Yeah, they dropped him for 2013, which makes sense. And yeah, they not only did they bring him back to do Bathurst, they also let him replace Courtney after his Phillip Island injury. And so he was able to get a bit of a start. And it's just like, what a turnaround. What a kick up the ass. Like, he must have really pulled it out because he started doing well. It got in the Carrera Cup as well. They were going to put him with Alberto. That's nuts. Anyway, I got some articles in Google here to look up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Ryan Briscoe. They put Ryan Briscoe. Okay, hang on. Here we got this article. Ryan Briscoe was in the Enduro events. It's unlikely he'll appear in HRT Red. That already locked away for Greg Murphy and Ryan Briscoe for his factory entries. So I want to see an article for 2013 HRT Ryan Briscoe. Because Briscoe had been pretty good for them. Had been linked to HRT at the start of the season. Here we go. Sydney Morning Herald. HRT secure Briscoe for V8 Enduros. HRT confirmed Briscoe as Ingles co-driver. And he drove with Jim Richards in 2006. Well, that's a very short article. Sort of interesting, like how long Briscoe was hanging around until around V8s. So did he want to drive supercars? Hard to say. He's just one of those interesting sort of guys, like one of those interesting international drivers. This is a Speed Cafe article. Had been linked to Walkinshaw, initially telling, since the start of the season, initially telling media he'd signed for HRT. Doubts emerged recently about his attendance, thanks to Nick Percat's recall to HRT fold. Briscoe returned to... Yeah, so it must have just been talks until things were completely put out. Currently recovering from broken wrist sustained in an IndyCar race at Toronto. Yeah, that might be why. They might have just gone, oh, you know what? We'll give Nick one more chance, and we're going to put Briscoe with the old man because it's like he's already having a crap season. He might as well have Briscoe. And they got a freaking podium at the Gold Coast, dude. And Russell was in tears. He was like, you know, you never know when your last one's going to be. And it was like, I can't imagine the emotions he'd be having because he hadn't had a podium for a while. I think in 2011 he was getting beaten by Steve Owen, and then 2010 I think he didn't even get a podium. I think Murph did. He just had a rough run for a while. Remarkably put the second entry on provisional pole at Sandown before failing to complete a racing lap at Bathurst thanks to an early crash from Jim Richards. Yep, and that's why Richo retired after that. He was like, yeah, I think I'm done. Really excited to be coming home driving with Walkinshaw, partnering and partnering Russell. Hey, you know, driving with Russell Ingles not a bad gig, I'd say. You know, I think plenty of us would give our left nut to drive with Russell Ingles. Following the V8s all season, great to be driving with Russell. But yeah, maybe the injury to Briscoe had a lot more to say. So maybe that was a bit more to it. So Gold Coast International races. I was yapping. You're right. They stayed on for all three because the crash in 2012 for Percats. Is that what you mean for Percat? That they kept Percat? Yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking that um like if they were saying Briscoe thought he was going to be with HRT because I think he'd been reliable. He was what with JC in doing the international races. Let's have a look. In 2012, I'll show it. Oh, deep here on the Supercars Mabini stream. HRT. Ryan Briscoe for the Gold Coast. They had Nick Percat with Garth, Briscoe with Garth. I don't think they had an international one in 2013. I think it was just normal co-drivers. Yeah, it was just normal. They didn't have. There was no international requirement. It was cool when they had it, but it was also a crash fest. Like, I think we saw Morbidelli driving backwards after he'd been spun, or after he spun, or whatever happened. So you got Briscoe. I remember Darren Turner driving with Courtney. I think Courtney had a stinker. McConville doing his thing, doing a great job. Yeah, Percat obviously confirmed. And then, yeah, they had Percat with Garth and Murph with Courtney. So they, yeah. And Courtney only missed the last round anyway, after his crash at Phillip Island. But Murph wasn't great. And he said he wasn't comfortable as well with because the way the cars just changed constantly. That you jump in at the start of the year, it'd be one way. Jumping in the middle of the year, it'd be a different way, and it's just hard to keep up with the development. And so, yeah, interesting. I think they put Briscoe with Ingle because of the injury. I think that makes more sense because he did co-drive with Garth for that one, and it looked like Percat was on a chopping block after crashing out in 2012. Hard to say if Briscoe was doing a good enough job